hustle got to be strong in this industry, as in any other industry.
So there's a question on Facebook in one of the expediting groups. And the question is, when you lease on to a company, can you request where you want to go? Or are you just all over the place? So, the first thing to understand with this question is, and in this business in general, is that you as a driver are giving a service. You're providing a service. The company you lease on with, sign on with, dispatch service you choose to use, anything like that, they are providing a service for you as well. So you guys are in a mutual partnership, providing each other a service that one another needs. So, you can, with that being said, as a driver, you can choose to be picky about every single load that you choose to take with the dispatch service, because there really isn't they can't really enforce a forced dispatch, because if they make you take everything, no matter whether you want it or not, then it starts to cross the line of employee, W-2 as opposed to a 1099 independent contractor. But at the same time, if they are having nothing but problems with you as far as you're turning down a lot of loads, and every single load they got to spend 10-15 minutes on the phone with you going over all of the details, obviously it's almost like having a phone service that the calls are always dropping. You can get a call, but then the call's dropping. You're always making a call to call back because the call's dropping. It's kind of the same thing. So the service that they're getting from you isn't satisfactory to what they want. Now, at the same time, if you want to continue to jump from service to service, trying to find the one that fits you best, that's possible to do, because there are so many dispatch services out there. There are so many expediting carriers out there. So you may be able to find the one that does fit all your needs, that is willing to spend the time on the phone going over the details. And to be honest, if they choose to do that, some of you may think that, oh man, that's kind of cool that they would do that. To be honest, it's not. Because basically, if they're willing to spend time with you and they're not really pressed about whether you take a load or not, that means they don't really care about what you're doing in general. Because what you got to understand is that, when you're needing to make a decision about every load, that time that dispatch is on the phone with you, trying to just give you the details of the load's probably gone. Like, some of them loads that are on the board, like, they're gone within minutes, like just a couple of minutes. Sometimes they're on there for quite a while because they're just waiting for a cheap-ass bid or whatever it may be. Sometimes there is time. So you've got to keep that in mind as well. Now, like with Barrett was, in most carriers, it's basically, let me try to keep this organized. Okay, so the best thing you can really do if you want to get to be the most effective as far as your earnings and your ability to earn and all of those things, you basically have a discussion with your dispatch prior. For one, you talk to the carrier or whoever you're signing on with well beforehand to even to make sure it's a good fit, so you don't get on there, get signed on with them and then you're shocked by what they're expecting of you, and they're shocked by what you expect of them. So obviously you need to have that conversation before you sign on, and that's the easiest thing to do, is just call each one up and say, hey, this is what I'm looking to do, this is how I'm looking to operate, and would I be a good fit with you? So that's something you can have. Now, the best choices you can have, as I said, with both the carriers I've been with prior, it's basically, I discuss with the dispatch beforehand, like say, with VGS, there was a point in time where I had said I don't want to go into Laredo or into Texas in general or any of those really crap spots out west or anything for less than 90 cents. Now, mind you, their contracted rate at that time was 80 cents. I was averaging 77 cents. So I was wanting a certain rate to go into a certain area. And then there were certain areas that, say New York, or, you know, going onto the island or whatnot. A lot of tolls, a lot of hassle. So you make it clear to dispatch in conversation, like, you know, I'm willing to go up there, but I'm going to need my tolls covered. I'm going to need a little bit extra pay just for the hassle of going to that side of the world, and to be able to get back out of there, because you're not going to be able to stay. So there's just discussions. If you don't want to go to the Northwest, you can tell them, hey, I don't really want to go up that way, but I'm good anywhere else. So those are just a few examples of the best way to make it work and to have those discussions without having to do it on each load. Like, you know, with VGS and Barrett both. Now, if there were some questionable loads that they understand, because, you know, a lot of dispatchers, if they're worth a shit, they're going to know where the bad areas are and where they're not. And a lot of times, if they aren't sure if you would be okay with that load, they're going to call you and say, hey, looking at a load, this is where it's going, this is where it picks up, and blase skippy. And then you make a decision then. So, yeah, but for the most part, to be effective and to get the miles and to make the money, you are going to have to trust your dispatch, you know, and the best way to trust them is obviously to have continuous conversations with them at times. If you feel, you know, like for me personally, I operated in a way, I'm taking everything, okay? Especially when I first got on with the carrier. Taking everything, I'm seeing where I'm ending up, I'm communicating with other drivers with the same carrier, I'm trying to pay attention to where they're going and how they're doing. And then I kind of, after a couple of months, then I start to kind of, you know, discuss with dispatch what I will and won't do at that point, what I need to go here, what I need to go there, or, you know, anything like that. So that is what I've found works best to be the most productive. So to that guy's question, the second part, are you just all over the place? That's how I operate, because I don't come out here, and I never did. I mean, and for one, that's the one thing, I guess, the one edge I guess I have over most that get into this industry is that I do have a bit of background in the transportation industry, as though, you know, because I grew up around trucking. So I understand how it works, and I don't have a problem going anywhere. So I didn't have a problem just shooting me all over the place, because I know that's what's needed. I understand that the dispatch and the carrier, whatever you're signed on with, they're not a travel agency. So it isn't you call them up and say, hey, I want to use my AAA discount to get me a load out to El Paso at $1.25 a mile, and by the way, I'm going to want it 4 days to do that, and I'm going to need hotel stays for all of those nights. That's not what this is. That's not what expediting is. And now that's not to say that you can't get to a point in this industry, whether it be creating your own carrier, going independent, signing on, finding the right dispatch service. It's not to say you can't get it to close to that point of what you like. Like where I'm at now, I can pick and choose anything I want. Like, I don't have to worry about the phone call and where is this load going. I don't have that worry now. Now I know where I'm going. I know where I want to go. I know where my areas are. I know what I'm willing to do. So, and again, most of the time I get to see what's going on. So, I've gotten into that position to be able to do that. But until you get there, you got to come out here willing to work, man. I mean, that's the main thing. That's the one thing I always find kind of interesting about questions like this, is because it is amazing to see how many people, how many drivers or people interested in coming out here think that it's just, like I said, these services, these dispatchers are your travel agent. And it's just not the case. You're not out here touring the world. And again, you can be in that situation. You can, if your situation is to where you don't need much, and I've mentioned this before, you don't need much money, you don't have to do a lot of miles, then you can be picky. You can just be a tourist for the most part and get paid to drive around the United States. But for the most part, if you're wanting to get out of it what I've gotten out of it, and what most people that are getting into this industry is looking to do, which is make money and grow a career or or grow a business, you have to be willing to put in that work. Like, every job, every load isn't a fluff job. It's just not how this industry is. So yeah, hopefully I answered that well enough for you. And I don't know if this guy is a subscriber or not. I just seen the question on there. Yeah, if you have any questions about what this topic is, feel free to comment below or email me. My email is in the description. So yeah, I'm out here for now.